Hey friends, welcome back to BIMvoice. Today I have the pleasure to talk to Ali Ismail, somebody with a lot of experience with openBIM. And I can't wait to learn more about his story and about what he does and why he does things. Hey Ali, thank you very much for accepting my invitation. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, Petru, thank you for the invitation. Thank you for contacting me and for this opportunity.
My pleasure. Tell us few words about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? Where do you do these things? And yeah, let's start with that.
Well, I don't know where I have to start, but okay. My name is Ali Ismail. Originally, I come from Syria. We have been talking about this before the recording. I moved then to Germany where I did my master degree and PhD degree. So by education, I'm civil engineer, structural engineer. I did a diploma in structural engineering in Syria, then rehabilitation engineering master degree into Technical University of Dresden, and then a PhD degree in Bauinformatik in German or something like computational engineering. And my PhD was about simulation and BIM, how to optimize the project planning using advanced technology like simulation. In the last 6 years, I have been working as expert for Dubai municipality in Dubai, in United Arab Emirates. And my interest actually, I'm engineer, civil engineer, but almost all of my career have been working with computer programming, software development, digital transformation, delivering digital delivery of tools. And yeah, that's like short introduction about myself. I
Okay,
want
let's start to
make
to
it
peel
long.
this
Yeah.
off with something. Um, OpenBIM, why it's something interesting. We have something in common. Like I'm also a civil engineer. Um, like in Romania, it's more general. Like you can't like you choose what you do after you graduate. If you are going to work as a structural engineer, as I don't know, a civil engineer or bridge engineer. Actually, you specialize in that. Like in the last 2 years, I think it's a bit different now because now it's only 4 years. It used to be 5. So we kind of have a similar background, engineers who end up working a lot with openBIM. Um, Tell me why openBIM? What do you see in openBIM?
Well, before I'm telling you about openBIM, actually, I want just to say like engineers can do anything. Engineers can solve any problem, and specifically civil engineers. In Syria, back when in 1994, when I started my university, we also have the same system, maybe like in Romania. Like according to your grades, then you choose the domain you want to proceed your bachelor degree. And at my time, we didn't have informatic or any uh, information engineering faculty. So the best things was close to it to be engineer. Well, why openBIM or how I started with openBIM in 2009, 2010 when I started my PhD. I had to work with building information modeling to prepare the information for the simulation model to support the planning of the project. And the Technical University of Dresden, my professor, Reimer Scherer, was one of the pioneers who even contributed to the development of IFC long time ago with the structural extension. So during my first 2 years in Germany, I had the first contact with openBIM, with IFC standard. I understood why it is important, the interoperability problem, the openness, the long archiving, and etc. And having the freedom when you receive a model in openBIM format to do with it whatever you want to do. There is nothing closed, nothing hidden. It is open book. At the end, if you wish, you can even open it in a notepad text editor. And then, according to your use case, according to your skills, according to the problem that you are trying to solve, you can access all information inside the model. Sometimes you extract information, sometimes you generate report, sometimes you put this information in another format. So that's why how it started with openBIM. Now, on the professional side, or in my role as a BIM expert, and for the last 6 years, what I have been doing, pushing the openBIM in different ways by For example, by contributing to make the BIM mandate in Dubai open BIM based, so we receive IFC model instead of different native format from different software, different versions, and you know the problem of back interoperabilities, etc. So because I believe open BIM is the way to go when you are a public sector, when you are a government, when you are a data science, when you are somebody who need to have the freedom and the flexibility to work with your IFC model and BIM model. And of course, openBIM is not only about the data model itself, the IFC, it comes with a lot of tools like BIM collaboration format, recently the IDS, or model view definition before, and other formats. So at the end, it is a kind of different way how to deliver the project and give every actor, every person in the project the freedom to use the tool they are good at or the tool they wish to use. And at the end, you can have a federated model, or you can transfer the information between different tools, different system, different persons in a flexible way. Uh, what make me more like interested, or get me like more involved in these open BIM things, that when I started, like we are talking about almost 15 years ago, my PhD, there have been no available free tools which serve my problem. I need simply to extract information from this IFC model to feed it to the simulation model. So I need, for example, a list of building elements, their spaces, their location, etc.
Mhm.
So there have been, of course, commercial tools like Solibri, but even the academic license was very expensive, at least from my point of view. Maybe now, if I go back with the history, maybe like a few thousand euros is not too much money. But for me, I said, no, I don't need to let my university to pay this money. I will develop a simple script to extract information. And by chance, at that time, I was somehow like, I heard about a programming language coming from Japan, called Ruby. So I wanted also to test this programming language because it's very developer friendly. It has a meta programming. It has a lot of nice features.
Mhm.
So these two things come together at the same point. I started to write some small script about IFC, and then after now 15 years, I have ifcwebserver.org, which is an open data server for IFC model and online viewer. And I'm running these almost like now 13 or 14 years for free, just to get people on board or to motivate newcomers to get their hands dirty with IFC model, to upload, to test. Maybe later during our conversation,
Yeah,
I can show a brief demo about
definitely.
it. So
Definitely.
this is my start with why openBIM and how it's related to my career or my life.
This is very interesting. Like you got to a point where you even develop this platform. It's crazy that I am into openBIM for some years, some good years now, and I never heard about this until like 2 or 3 weeks ago when we spoke. Before that, I didn't hear about the tool.
My
Um,
mistake.
no, no, it's not your mistake. Like you focus on building it, not on promoting it. So it makes
Yeah,
sense.
true.
But it's very interesting. Like I'm thinking also, how is this tool? Like, didn't you know about IFC OpenShell, or IFC OpenShell wasn't here when you started to work on it, or you
When
didn't
I
like?
started, IFC OpenShell was not yet started, I believe. We had at that time something called BIMserver.org.
Okay, which
BIMserver.org.
what was that? Because I don't know.
BIMserver.org was an open source. It is still under development. We cannot say was. It's still there. But
Okay.
for me, it was still like complex. It was written in Java language, and it was like very heavy,
Uh-huh.
using a kind of like key value database, not very stable. And it was not like solving my problem that I need simply to extract information in a certain format. So
Mm-hmm.
I think BIMserver.org started 2010 or 2000, late of 2009. I started developing 2000, early of 2010, or maybe mid of 2010, and then I
Uh-huh.
published the server on 2011. And I believe IFC OpenShell, either it was very new or started at that time, or it was not yet existing. But I am using at moment IFC OpenShell, for example, for the conversion of the IFC model to Collada file or to other format. So
Mhm.
I use, I'm not like avoiding using any open source. On the other way, I'm trying to integrate as possible as of open source tools.
Mhm.
So IFC OpenShell is very, very great tool, and I always try even to update the versions on my server regularly.
Ah, okay, that's great to hear. That's great. Um, let's do one thing. Let's talk a bit more about what's happening in Dubai, and then we can come back to the tool and we can have a look at it and what we could use.
No problem.
So Dubai, tell me, how come Dubai came up with this idea? Why? Why did it happen right now? Is it so because they have hired people like you and maybe Mr. Ibrahim and other people who saw something in IFC, in openBIM, or like why did Dubai, like, because I'm thinking, well, is Dubai? They have enough money to pay for Revit licenses and stuff like that. What happened? How come they started to see something really powerful in openBIM and actually ditch the proprietary approach? And because again, like, I will have to repeat that, um, compared to other places of the world, in Dubai, I think like they maybe have good resources. They could afford to pay for tools, right? So can you, like, what can you tell me about this? Because I'm very curious. I don't know much about this.
It is difficult to talk about all things because, you know, I cannot like to talk very openly about everything. But I will say, I will start by saying something like it's not about money at the end. It is
No.
not about if the country is rich or not rich. At the end, you have to choose the best option, even if you have enough money to use all commercial tools and to update and to buy license and subscription for all your employee, and even to enforce the supply chain to use commercial tools and so on. At the end, it's not about money. First of all, for Dubai, the vision to have a BIM mandate, it is not something started when I joined or it is not an individual thing. They have this vision long time ago, and Dubai municipality trying all time, or this is the vision in United Arab Emirates to be number one in everything and to adopt innovation, technology, etc. So the first soft BIM mandate it is almost in 2013 or 14, so more than uh, like 10 years or more, 15, okay, now 2025. So you can imagine how long it is. The decisions actually to move to open BIM, it was logical again. It was not about if we have money or if we don't have money, because at the end, we we are developing tools uh, to be run on our servers. The data security is important, the automation, the possibility of automate things, to have ETL, like extract and transform and load workflows, to be sure that the model that you are receiving from the consultants and contractors in the future, they are safe and accessible now and after 10 years and after 100 years. And at the same time, to make things simple, just imagine if we wanted to accept commercial and native format. We cannot say like we accept only Revit, even if Revit is the most used tools. But there is also other tools on the market. There is
Yeah.
ArchiCAD from Nemetschek. There is Trimble, Tekla, SketchUp,
Yeah, yeah.
Vectorworks, BricsCAD, etc. So you know how many commercial tools they have. And just imagine if public government started to receive this native file from different format, different versions, and the backend, these back compatibility issues, at least in Revit and maybe other software. So it will be a nightmare.
But
How to
like it
how
it
to
like, I have to interrupt you here. So it's not that it will be a nightmare. Is actually this what's happening today? Like, so that's what's happening most of the places. Like, right? The clients are accepting just, I'm just saying Revit or Autodesk because that's what most people use, right? So this is kind of like discrimination, right? When you have a client saying that you have to deliver everything Autodesk, That's market discrimination. Like you are discounting already people. How are people using other tools going to uh, be even having a chance to participate on those projects? Like you're like I completely understand. I'm on your side here. I'm just trying to highlight actually the status quo. How people see if they use Revit, everyone should just use Revit.
Well, I will not call it discrimination. I know how sensitive the topic in Europe may be, or for some persons. For me, I believe in free market at the end. The best tools will prove itself, and people are free to use the tool they would
Hmm.
like to use. So if people are happy with Revit, so they could use Revit.
Hmm.
If they are happy to pay for subscription, if they are happy to use open source Bonsai or Google SketchUp, it's not Google anymore, Trimble SketchUp,
Yeah,
etc. So I believe in freedom of the market, freedom of persons, but at the same time, it's a freedom also of the lead appointing party in a project, or the owner of the building, or the project manager. If they believe in their BIM execution plan that they would like to have Revit used, so it's their choice. So at the end, the software is not the problem. At the end, people who are using this software, the ecosystem around it,
yeah,
and for sure, you cannot have like 100% all users using a specific software. So we'll always have this fragmentation in our sector. But for us, because you asked me about how it comes that
yeah,
Dubai municipality or
yeah.
a public sector in this region, and you believe that money is unlimited, which is of course
It's
not
not
true.
real.
Because
I'm
at the
not
end,
saying it's unlimited.
yeah,
I just say like it is better than other places.
because
I
even
don't
if
think
you
so.
have money, you have to use this money wisely and use it
Of
in the
course.
right way. So at the end, for us, going in the open BIM path or option is the best, because we have our BIM standard based on an international standard.
Not on
We
a
are not having
proprietary
our
company or on a
Yes,
public private company.
exactly. We are not having our BIM standard based on, for example, on a specific software. So we define our standard, we define our requirement of information requirement, we define the process, the workflows, and then we give the people the freedom to use Revit.
Whatever they
Even we
want.
provide a Revit template. For us, we are not against commercial tools. We cannot, say like you have to use bonsai because bonsai not ready. So at the end, Revit is the best. Okay, use Revit. You believe ArchiCAD is the best for architectural design, use ArchiCAD. But please, at the end, export this BIM model in a nice way. We tell people even how to export and how to make the model geolocate,
That's
to
great.
check the quality of the model. And we have what we need. We have the BIM model in IFC format. Then we can automate checking the building regulation, or what's called usually the compliance check, automated code compliance. Move this BIM model to our digital twin, to our GIS system. If we
Hmm.
have been working with different native format, it would be not possible. So this, I think, the justification why OpenBIM.
Hmm.
And I think
Yeah,
this is also in Singapore the same, in most of, in Finland, I believe even the same. I'm not aware about any country that, or government at least, that they said we accept a specific software.
hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
Maybe in
yeah, but it's
USA, I'm not
like
sure.
it's just happening by default, you know, like you see it like when you start talking about IFC, there are many places where they can't even understand like why would you use IFC? Like I still get this question. I talk to many people every day, Ali, yeah, on LinkedIn. So
I believe you. I believe you.
uh,
I had the similar situation. Yeah, for
so
many years, I have the similar situation. Yeah.
yeah, so that's why like that's
Yeah,
the reason, right? People are still asking, "Hey, I'm using Revit." Like I expect everyone to use Revit, which is dumb, right? Like, but again, like, and there are also situations where you have clients who don't have the resources. When I say resources, they don't mean necessarily money, but they don't have people who can understand and implement these things. So they are still complaining about inefficient processes projects, but they don't see the most important thing, which is right there, right in before their eyes, and yeah, which is gotten also better and better and better. And yeah, they just have to to invest a little bit of time to understand this and how this could work for them. But yeah, I love how you see things, because that's also how I see it. I cannot imagine working on a project. It's a nightmare that you have, like, you work with everyone. Yeah, but I can deliver you an inventor file, or a SketchUp file, or like, what I'm going to do with that. Like, I just need something that I understand. I understand one
Yeah,
thing. I'm working with 10 different softwares, with people who
yeah,
work with 10 different tools. Give me some, like, they have to speak the same language, right? So it's still a high threshold for this, but I'm happy to see and find other people who have the same vision. So I'm very,
yeah.
very happy for
Of
that.
course, I have to admit, it was not the easy way. We chose the difficult way, the hard way. If we want to go to the easy way, maybe we could use commercial tools even for checking the building regulation. We can buy license for Solibri or BIM Collab, Zoom, or any other software. Even the tools for checking the model qualities and the code compliance check are built in-house. So
Okay.
at the end, we are developing them inside Dubai municipality. And just imagine, just to give you another example, sometimes we are dealing with consultant. The original Revit file maybe will be one or 2 gigabyte, you know. But when they export the IFC file according to our requirement, according to our recommendation, when we help them to optimize things, then we are under 150 megabyte, at least for the zip file, which for this model. But
Yeah.
usually, even the IFC files are like 100 megabytes. So just imagine if you are receiving gigabytes models every week, every day. So it's
Not
a
easy to
nightmare.
work. Yeah, yeah, not easy
Yeah.
to work with them if you can't, if you can use them at all. But do you have also some rules about splitting the models? Yeah, I understand, like, there are two things here. There are situations, like, the most important, well, you have to have these things that are not mistakes in the model. Like, don't have geometry that is increasing unnecessarily your model. Don't have things that don't need to be in a model. Don't have
Yes.
unnecessary information, like a lot of trash information. Have only the information that your client requests. Once you once you make sure that everything is correct, if it's a huge project, maybe it's still worthwhile to split it in few models. Or I don't know, maybe I'm talking especially about infrastructure, but also about large buildings. Maybe you can have different part of models that you can federate, right? I guess you also have, you allow this, or
Yes,
like,
yes,
I
yes.
guess it's not like you don't
Yes,
have.
yes, we had this. Yeah, we had this. And this is a process which is always like evolving, you know.
Yeah.
By default, we assume that you will submit one model for architectural design and another model for structural design, and maybe in the future, one model for MAB design.
MEP. Mm-hmm.
But when you face the reality and you see that sometimes because the building permit is issued by project, not by building.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have one project which has like 500 villa or 7 building or 10 building.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes you have, for example, a building with a podium with two high towers. And the information size is very huge. You cannot handle this huge
In
all
one model.
building or these two towers and one podium in one model. So even the consultant themselves, they split them and they link them back in Revit or other tools.
Mm-hmm.
So in our BIM standard, yes, we have a strategy and we have options to split by building, split by discipline, or even the same discipline to be splitted to part. And then when the model is uploaded to the system, they will be aggregated and federated, and then we
Yeah.
check the rules, etc., based on the overall all model, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is practical and necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. That's great. That's great. So, how how do you deal with challenges? You mentioned, like, when you started, there were challenges. I guess especially the first time when people got around, the consultants and the designers. Well, how should we, like, we work until now like this. Now you want us to work differently. Like, how
Yeah.
did it happen? How did it went from when this became official until today? What is the change? How much better is today? And what have been the challenges?
I think it is a change management issue, and it is a human. The human are the centric problem or the factor in this area.
I agree.
Of course, I cannot speak only like what I think or what I believe because all what have been done is a teamwork and we have the support from the management and we have the buy-in from the business user
Yeah,
and the market when we started the BIM mandate, like the real BIM mandate or the in 2024, at the beginning of 2024, the market was almost ready because as I said at the beginning, that there have been few years ago a soft mandate. So people know they are aware that something will come soon.
yeah.
The municipality will mandate BIM, so they have been preparing themselves. I think the best way how to convince people that BIM and open BIM and this digital permit, for example, in my case, is good to show them the value as long as you are just talking about technical and saying BIM standard and ISO and IFC and talking in this language, people will keep resistant. Like the resistance will be big because even the building permit engineers in any municipality who have been working in CAD, when they have to move to BIM, you have to take care of a lot of social aspect about the personalities of people, the
Mm-hmm.
change resistance, the change management. But from my experience, I believe that the nice way when you start to smile and you see the result, when the people themselves uh, they see the value, they ask for more, they ask to add features, and when you receive, for example, a message from a consultant who tell you, you know what? I used the automated code compliance check, and really, it found out. He exposed for me a lot of errors or problems that I didn't was aware about them. So they start now to see the value of the tool, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I think Dr. Ibrahim today or yesterday he posted something on LinkedIn. Maybe you can put a link to it after the video. He put a kind of nice diagram. How is the cycle of BIM mandate and change management? So at the beginning, people start to be excited about it, and then difficulties, challenges, and then you have to do the hard work,
Yeah.
and then you start to see the result. So it
Mm-hmm.
was very nice post of Dr. Ibrahim about this. And I think this is in any when you implement any new technology, any change in the management, any change on the workflow, you
Mm-hmm.
will have to expect these challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for me, I think the key things when you start any digital transformation, start thinking from the beginning about people,
Mm-hmm.
about training, about upskillings, about changing the mindset, about giving them motivation and incentives to make this to do this to make this change happen.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, you cannot enforce anything only with technology.
Mm-hmm.
You need technology and you need to take people on board with you.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's always about the people. The people are
Yeah,
the amazing creatures that make this amazing progress, but they are also those who are keeping the things too conservatively sometimes. So
yeah.
it's always about us, is nothing else. Um, so from your perspective as a client, working for a client, it's easy. Now, how should consulting companies or contractors look at this? Um, what would be the incentive for them to invest any money and implement openBIM in the projects they work? Especially like let's take out of the table the situation where they work on a project where the client demands this. Like let's say they work for on a project for Dubai municipality, then they have to do that. What if they are working in another place where that's not a requirement yet? Would there be like any reasons why they should look into this? They should waste any resources on this?
Well, it is very difficult to answer these questions. You are asking me very tricky questions. But let me think about it. Actually, to be honest with you, the market nature here in the region is very hectic. You don't even have time to think about anything else, just like you have to deliver. You have to deliver a project. You have to
All the
start
time.
another
Yeah.
project. You have to finish doing the minimum work at least to get the tender, and then you have to do the minimum work at least as fast as possible to keep a margin of benefit and revenue, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe most of the companies, specifically small size, medium size, really they don't have time to invest in learning, doing, changing the way how they do. And most of them they are using BIM, like BIM tools, BIM software, only for generating the drawing. They don't even think about the. I mean, before talking about openBIM, even for BIM as a closed BIM or Revit or any other software, BIM is used mostly just to satisfy the requirement of the client, sometimes to generate the drawing, because generating a drawing with BIM is for most of people are faster than like go back to AutoCAD,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't use BIM in the right way. Even big developers, big consultant companies, you don't see any real use cases. It's very, very rare. Maybe in very special project, they go miles behind and they do like
Yeah.
further steps about advanced simulation for lighting or energy simulation or some. So they use BIM for generating drawing, sometimes for clash detection and so on. And you
Mm-hmm.
are right. Maybe people have to use openBIM at least to export in IFC format
Mm-hmm.
and to study about it, to know at least the minimum to submit to us. If we didn't mandate, maybe they will not do this
Yeah.
by themselves. And
Yeah.
because, as I said, because they are busy. But at the same time, from the result or what I see from after like almost we have like this BIM mandate 1 year and a half, now we started even to hear from big developers and big consultants that after we enforced them somehow, we pushed them to have a good quality BIM model.
Yeah.
If it is BIM or open BIM or closed BIM, no matter. But now they have to care about the quality because at the end they have to submit a
To you.
good quality BIM model with the
Mm-hmm.
classification, with the usage cases, with geolocation, with the minimum attribute for fire safety, blah, 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 you know?
Yeah.
So now they come to us and say, thank you very much. You enforced us to improve our process,
Process
to
as well.
improve, to change how we think about BIM. We don't now think about BIM only for some a tool for modeling and generating a drawing. So I think it's always necessary that the government should mandate and then the industry should adopt.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe for open BIM, it is the same like with BIM. Any company, I believe, which move from CAD to BIM, they will never look back and go back to CAD after they implement BIM. I believe the same for open BIM. Any small or big company, when they start to invest time and
Yeah.
change the tools and the workflow, and they see the freedom, they enjoy the flexibility, they can develop their own tools, own dashboard, not
Yeah.
on the level of one project, but on the level of
Yeah.
whole enterprise. They will never they will never ignore open BIM. I will not say they will stop using closed BIM because closed BIM is
They have to
here to
use the
stay.
tool. They have to use the
Yeah,
tools.
but
But
at least
the
they will
output,
adopt. Yeah,
the output, like, yeah.
they will adopt openBIM. They will ask their team to export a good quality IFC model, for example. They will start sharing IFC model. They will start
Yeah.
using BIM collaboration format.
Mm-hmm.
They will start to define their IDS because this standard will help them actually to improve the quality and to make the certification of the client and
Yeah.
so on.
Yeah,
So
it's
at the
about
end,
time in the end. It's about time and the quality of the assets. Like the clients are ending up with these assets, but these assets can also be used during design and construction. That's the best part, right? So that's what people have to understand. But yeah, I'm very
well,
excited about this.
yes, I think if I was an owner of a company or CEO or a manager for a company in the situation I described that they have no time to think about this,
Yeah.
I will hire an open BIM champion in my company. If
Wow.
I don't want to go to external services or get some certification or just to make things like just for show off, I will hire or I will add to my team a young person who is motivated, who has skills about openBIM and data and information management and can develop for my company customized tools, dashboard, automations, etc. So this is, and this person will then teach others. He will then
Yeah.
convince others to use. So maybe this one way to do.
So you say that it is worthwhile for people to invest time and learn OpenBIM because they are going to get some special career opportunities at some point. Because more and more clients across the globe are adopting OpenBIM. And these people, these companies, they will need openBIM experts. So you would say, because I
Yes.
see from where I am biased, of course, I'm selling training about openBIM, but I see this in real in reality happening. Like this increases a lot, and I strongly argue that this is a great thing to have on your CV, and it's a great CV. It's a great way to differentiate yourself in the market, while you also are making a huge contribution and impact into the industry, because you are making it more open, more sustainable, and yeah,
Yeah,
embracing open standards.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Take me as example or yourself. We are civil engineers and we are IT people. So we have both glasses. I can act and talk and understand engineering, and I can act and talk and develop and deliver IT solution. So I have this both way. So the same for BIM or closed BIM and open BIM. When you have somebody who is expert in Revit or a specific software, but he know nothing about open BIM, he know nothing about how to interact with other software or how to exchange information. So you have a person who is like dedicated for this specific software.
Mhm.
Who knows? Maybe in few years other software will come to the market. So at the
Yeah.
end, maybe you will be not the demand for a specific software, never guaranteed. But when you are an expert or you have the basic knowledge about open BIM and open standard, which is international standard, and it is related to a basic information management. At the end, you have to learn about what is a data model, what is a schema, how to
Mhm.
query information, how to convert to different format, how to save them in a database, how to create a dashboard. So these skills which you have to learn when you deal with open BIM standard, it's basic. If you are dealing with closed BIM, you are using a software, click,
Yeah.
moving the mouse and the work
Mhm.
done. With open BIM, no, you have to read about XML, IDS, etc., 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 etc. So I recommend, I advise any person, young people, don't just learn BIM as a tool. BIM is a process, BIM is a, a way to deliver a project, and try to make balance between learning tools and learning methodologies,
Mhm.
processes, workflows.
I love that. I love it. And like, I'll be frank. I make some videos about jobs in Norway, and there are already jobs in Norway where they specify specifically openBIM, and they mention IFC, they mention ISO 19650, they mention BSDD, they mention IDS. There are not many, but they start to be. So, what do you think it happens if you apply for a job and you don't have this, and there is only one person or two persons who have this? Because there are very few, like the competition right now, it's very low when it comes to this. There are very few people who are using ideas, who are using BSDD. Like when you have you have gone even further, like with software development or understanding the still things. But I'm thinking, even if as a user, just like, let's say you're a BIM coordinator, you know how to use Solibri, you know how to use Power BI, these kind of things. But then now you start understanding how BSDD works and you start using IDS. Then when you apply for a job, don't you think that is going to get you over the everyone else in the competition? Of course that's going to happen, right? So I think this is going to happen more and more also outside of Norway at some point. I don't know how much time is going to take until then, but I see it in reality. So this is not just my dream because I'm drinking the Kool-Aid of openBIM. I see it happening by different stakeholders, because that happens when you have all the clients, all the big clients in Norway are requesting openBIM deliveries, right? So when you do that, of course, like a designing company, if they want to hire a BIM manager, they want that this BIM manager should have a knowledge about openBIM, because that's what they are going to deliver. And if they can't deliver, they cannot win projects. They can't. They will not make a good reputation.
Yeah, I agree with you, but at the end, we cannot make it that simple. Like at the end, if you learn BSDD and IDS and BCF, that you will have better chance than others, and you will get more paid than others who just don't know that. At the end, as I said, what I believe is the best option to have both, to be capable of dealing with BIM tools and be capable of understanding and dealing with open standard. because having a person in a company who only knows about openBIM and he doesn't know about commercial tools and their challenges, their problem. It's always a problem, you know. For
Mm-hmm.
me, even if I work in high level as a BIM expert, I don't have to make BIM model myself. I do my best always to keep myself updated with the recent update from Revit,
Mm-hmm.
to test recent update or versions from ArchiCAD and other software, because you have to make a balance. You cannot like give a technical support, for example, for a consultant to be like aligned with your standard if he is using a tool that you don't know about this tool. So you should know. So my advice for such people maybe to try to get certified from Building Smart, at least the foundation level, to
Mm-hmm.
follow some training course, in-depth courses about IDS, BSDD, BIM collaboration format, Bonsai, other tools, because the more you know, the more your value will be, you know. And actually, it is very scary at this time what AI is doing with this career and these
Yeah.
opportunities, and you know, so let's see. But I think yes, the BIM adoption is getting more. يعني more countries, more companies are interested now in open BIM compared maybe to 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
Yeah. I agree. The thing is, like, I'm thinking it's not so easy to do all these things as a one person, and also like to keep up with all the tools, do your job as a BIM coordinator, also learn the new open standards. So you have to make some choices as well, right? Sometimes maybe if you have a larger team, you can have different specialists, maybe focused on different of these parts, but at the same time, yeah, you might be a bit exposed if somebody leaves and so on. But yeah, like it's always a choice that you have to do. But in the end, like there, like it's a basic understanding, and I mean, like what is very important, and the reason why I mentioned this is that even because even after almost 2 years since I start to use IDS, Ali, I still see around me a ton of people who are hesitating. After 2 years since I use it, and I talk every week, I mention IDS, every week I mention about how important it is, how easy it's actually to start using it and stuff like that. And I still see a lot of people who don't use it. They see excited, they look excited, they hear that, they say that it's exciting, but they don't use it. And now, like, they don't have excuses anymore, because even tools like Solibri, Big Zoom, you have integrated IDS editors that you can create your own IDS and run it. Still, very few people are using it. It's still a shame, right? So that, like, it's so little investment of time to get to use this. And the why I'm mostly pissed off about this is because they didn't try it. How do I know they didn't try it? Because if they try it once, they are not going to give up on using IDS, because you will see how little effort will give you so much value. And that's how I know they don't use it.
I see the excitement that you have, uh, and I understand also the disappointment that you have because it is a very normal situation. For me, I can compare myself with you, but not only with the 2 or 3 years of IDS. I'm working with IFC model since 2009, developing something over 14 years. Maybe I'm not very good at promoting, but at least I have 3,000 users on my IFC web server. And I notice sometimes some of them, they log in, they upload a model, and then they never come back. Or some of them, they come just to see how I do this stuff like IT stuff, and then they go out. But I think to be clear, I think people, this is what I learned. I start to be like old man, so maybe I can have say some philosophy here. People do only what they have to do or they must do. You cannot expect that if you are excited about something, IDS, IFC, AI, and you talk to some person and then he will go and he start doing and learning and investing time. Because if we think about employee, if you are talking about individuals who are working in companies,
Mm-hmm.
they are doing what their boss want them to do and what their rules and responsibilities and the opportunity, if they do IDS, will they get raise in their salary? Will their manager will be more happy, or they prefer to keep doing things manually because if they do things automatically, then
They
the
will
boss
have
will
not
say like, yeah, so at the end we go back to the human nature. We go back to the people, you know.
that's
If you
such a
tell
shame.
some person like with IDS you can check the quality of the model in 5 minutes, but he need now 1 week to finish that. So he will be afraid. He will maybe
But then
block you next time.
his boss should hear this. His boss or her boss should hear about this. The managers should implement these things.
Yeah,
Like
maybe. Yeah, so
the clients, because
yeah,
in the end, it's the client who pays for that again, right? So the client has the best benefits from
yeah.
this. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Well,
so so I mean, don't blame the individuals. You have to blame the people who are responsible for them. But again, don't blame the client because the client also is not well educated. The
yeah.
client doesn't care about IDS. He don't want to hear IDS,
No,
IFC, data
just good
delivery.
quality
He
model.
want
Mm,
he want to have his project ready in a certain budget with a certain time, and
yeah.
he will believe anything that the consultant he will tell him. So at the end,
Ah,
it's a
that's sad.
complex
That's
story.
sad. That's sad. Yeah, yeah. I think we can talk weeks about this. But yeah.
Maybe
Um,
maybe you have to make awareness about BIM and open BIM for owners, for developers, for
Yeah,
normal people.
this is not a bad idea. That's good. That's very good actually. That's very good because but I'm thinking like how consultants like I'm seeing my like if you think about consultants, this will cut down their work, right? Because I'm thinking if you're smart, like if you really want to deliver good models, the simplest thing you can do with IDS is that all the BIM coordinators should run IDS and even modelers before they like after they export an IFC model, they should check it with IDS and they will see right there and then what's wrong and then fix it and then check again and send the good model. It's simple. Like it's going to be so simple. That's what Manomakers does. And like that, if this is going to be the normal, like I'm thinking maybe consultants are missing hours that they can bill, right? So what like how do you go about that? Because I'm yeah.
But again, Petro, sorry if I will have a different opinion or I will say something like
No, you are
not
allowed to do
against what you
that.
are saying, but I mean, IDS at the end is not the magic thing that solves the problem, and the
No?
life without IDS or before IDS was a hell, and is now a haven after IDS. Because even without IDS, if you think about Revit, for example, Revit has since many years these interoperability tools, and it has a rule engine and rule manager and all things and more than what you can do in IDS. You can do it 10 years ago with any software, with
Yeah.
ArchiCAD, with BIMQ from Germany as a checking with Simple BIM,
Yeah.
with Solibri, with Revit, this rule manager. So at the end, IDS is not a magic solution.
No.
People have the option long time ago to deliver a good quality model, but the problem, and even without exporting to IFC during the design, but the quality has a price and the quality need effort. And
Yeah.
if you are paid to deliver something in a low cost with a certain time and only to generate a drawing, for example, you will not take care about IDS and about adding all necessary information. So you have to understand
Yeah.
that
Makes
people
sense.
do only what they have to do. When you reach the quality level which you are paid for, you will stop investing more time. But I agree at the end, the managers, the owners, the
Yeah.
government should take care about quality by mandating, by enforcing, by
Yeah, they have to
providing
pay for that.
awareness.
So my
Yeah,
problem, I think it's like a vicious cycle where everyone just like, hey, you are you really underline something very important. Like you mentioned, like you have to put effort and this costs money, right? What's happening with IDS? What I think IDS exposes all these things. Maybe before all the checks that you mentioned, simple beam, um, Revit checks, they were done at the consultant level or at who was modeling, right? So the client didn't need to think about this. They didn't have the tools to check for these things, or they didn't like, yeah, you can have, but it's much more complicated, right? Now as a client, it takes a few seconds to run an IDS. So
Yeah,
you can see
IDS
that.
made it simple. Yes, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
IDS
But you
made
have to
things
pay for
simple.
that. That's the thing. You're right
Yeah.
about that because now, like, that's the problem. That's why I see like everyone is hesitant to use it because then they realize, oh, my model is so shitty, and the client the same. My model is so shitty, and this consultant is so expensive. So I have to pay them so much more to fix the model, and like it's a vicious cycle. Like no one wants to take the responsibility. So this has to be like a common responsibility. Like everyone, like from the client and the general contractor and also the designer. Like this has to be like yeah, make sense. But again, like that's what the ideas like how I look at ideas is that it made things so simple to be exposed. And me as a client, because like general contractors many times are sitting as a client because they get a project that they have to build. In my case, it's very important, like especially if you build it without drawings, which is the other thing I would like to talk soon about. Um, I can't build a project if I don't have the information. So it's so simple to argument for ideas. Without ideas, I don't know if I have the information or not. I just have to check it in a more manual way. It will take more time. But with ideas, I know, and it's also easy to communicate back using BCF or the ideas report to the consultant, right? So I think you're right about that. I completely agree with that. But when are we going to take responsibility for these things? Because that's what about, right? Like we have to be clear. Like we have a standard that is supposed to be used, but we don't use it. And yeah, the client says that they want something, and IDS is the only way that, not the only way, but the best way to make sure that actually you get what you order, what you buy, right?
Yes, I agree. I agree. If IDS utilized perfectly to the maximum, and if we assume that IDS is the start of delivering the information that you're expecting to have in your BIM model in the tender phase and delivery phase, and if the client at some point when they publish any tender, they will publish with it their information requirement as IDS, and when or if the government or the public sector or municipalities, they will publish their own IDS or BSDD, because you know there is big overlapping between IDS sometimes and IDS. BSDD and IDS. At that point, people will start to adopt, and they will be enforced. So we come back to the same first scour I said. People do only what they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you and me and any person, when we have the flexibility to avoid doing extra work, which we are not paid for, we will avoid it. So this is the the logic things, you know.
Yeah.
So things start by awareness. Before you talk to people about IDS, talk about quality of the model. So don't tell them technical things. Tell
Yeah.
them, you know, by improving the quality of the model and avoiding any problem to be solved later, if you solve it in the early phase,
Mm-hmm.
uh, that you will save for every, for example, $1, you save it in the early phase, it will be payback, like it will be cost you maybe $100 if
Mm-hmm.
you solve the problem on the construction phase. So something like this. And I think Building Smart are doing well by their defining their very nice graphic
Mm-hmm.
for the workflows and showing how these IDS and BIM collaboration format and
Mm-hmm.
IFC and BSDD could work together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you are doing a great job by this, like promoting all these standard and
By
this
being
workflow. So
the nasty
keep
guy,
going, keep going. Don't
by
don't don't give up.
exposing people, because that's what I do, and that's why a lot of people don't like me, because I expose them and I try to get them out of the comfort zone. I'm completely different, Ali. I'll be honest, like you are also. First time I run IDS, I cannot imagine to not use IDS anymore. Like like I find like I use IDS, I can provide quicker feedback, I can get better models, and then I can use my time to do other things to provide even more value to the project. Like it's a no-brainer for me. I don't see it like I don't look like punching hours just to finish my job and go home. That's not how I think. I think like
You know why?
to
You know why, Petro? Because maybe I had with you a previous conversation. I understand your excitement about IDS because IDS made it easy for people who not necessarily software developers or IT
Yes,
people
exactly.
to simplify the process of checking their qualities. Even 10 years ago, Solibri come with predefined rules. Don't have the freedom to define your rules.
Yeah,
You can change parameter. So maybe, and before IDS, there have been MVD and MVD XML from Building Smart, but you need to know how to deal with XML file. So IDS maybe the powerful things about IDS, the simplicity. But at the same time, it has limitation. But at the end, as I told you, it is not a magic thing.
no,
Before IDS and without IDS, we were capable and we can simply define rules in a database, define rules in different format, define rules in the source code of our tools, and we can check the model. But IDS made it simple for non-technical people and owners and government to publish things easily in a language which is computer compatible, and for human being it has
exactly.
nice user interface where you can define.
I completely agree. And that's exactly why we don't have excuses anymore. And that's why I'm so pissed off we don't use it. It's free. Everyone can use it. Like exactly like IFC. Exactly how you have an IFC. The same way. Why you have this amazing, like huge Excel spreadsheet and you don't convert it into an IDS that can
Yeah,
give
but
you
the problem, sorry, Petro, the problem because IDS should be built based on IFC. I mean, when you define your IDS, then you have to understand the data model of
some
IFC.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have to understand, you have to know the classes in IFC. You have to know the property set name. You have to know a lot of technical things. So maybe
Yeah, it's not so
IDS at the
advanced.
beginning,
Like it's the basics of
yeah,
IFC.
yeah, but if the company is not using openBIM and
Yeah,
not using IFC because they are not aware about it,
I
so
agree.
how you can think that they will be excited about IDS?
Hmm.
They have to adopt IFC first, and then they will be excited about
Yeah, yeah.
IDS.
I agree. I
So
agree. Thank you. Yeah,
it is a loop. It is a loop somehow or a circle. Yeah.
it's an amazing. Like I really like how you come up with these things. What do you think about model-based construction? I don't know what you know about Norway. We try to build projects in Norway without drawings anymore. So drawings are not requested anymore as submittals, as official documentation. If you have good
Yeah.
enough IFC models that you can build based on, you can use that in Norway. What do you think about this? Do you see this as a natural evolution for other places as well, or you don't think so?
Well, I think it's a dream actually, or it's a vision. When people started to talk about BIM maybe 20, 30 years ago, this was the vision that you work in 3D, you don't need a drawing, you can take measurement from the model is smart. And actually, I'm excited to see some. I read in the news a few months ago, I remember that where there have been a bridge in Norway was completely delivered with 3D model without any drawing.
All the
And even
projects in
they have,
infrastructure, all the projects in
yes,
infrastructure right now are done with
yeah,
this.
yeah, but maybe at least this was the use case that I got. Yani, it was a recent one,
Uh-huh.
and I noticed that was interesting that they put in the construction site a kind of digital station
Yeah, yeah.
where the
I
project
also have it.
manager and workers go
Yeah,
to the computer, look at the 3D model, make dimension measurement, and then they take decisions based on the information.
yeah.
So I think yes, we can say it is a reality because it's already done in Norway. And I think even a few years ago there have been also a use case where they
Hmm.
used only 3D model for it was I think it was also with the Tekla structure. It was a
Yeah,
steel bridge or something
yeah.
like this. So it is possible. It is possible to have this model based project that you
Hmm.
don't need a drawing.
Yeah.
And I think it is something like evolution,
So
as you said.
you are not stuck in drawings. You think the same. Like if you have the
No, no,
information in your
I
model.
cannot say this. I cannot say this because it is the same like when people started to move from paper to digital, like maybe 10 years ago, or maybe still nowadays in many areas,
Mhm.
people print, they plot the drawing, they take them in hand,
Yeah.
they go to the to the municipality or to the owner, and they open the paper
Yeah.
and work. So it need time. It need time. This transition from paper to CAD, it take many years. And now the transition from CAD to BIM with the drawing as a basic part or important part for the contractors, for the construction side,
Mhm.
it take 20, 30 years. I think we will never reach a state where we use model-based without any drawing for everything, never. Because because it depend on the skills of people, depend on the
Yeah.
maturity level, depend on the cost of having very detailed model, depend on the size of the project.
Yeah, of
And at
course.
the same time, we should also be very careful because it is a misunderstanding when people think that CAD and BIM are against each other, or that we have to get rid of CAD because now we are using BIM. If you look at BIM as a concept, even Excel file could be seen as a BIM, anything digital. Even CAD drawing are BIM at the end, not necessary to have this 3D representation. But when we say like model based, I believe it means all information I
Yeah,
need to
exactly. To build
to
something.
plan, to get building permit, to do a
Yeah,
simulation, to make a take off a quantity take off, to do all use
exactly.
cases can be done based on the model,
Yeah,
you
I,
know.
I
And
completely
then the
agree.
construction, yeah. But just imagine, are the workers outside Norway or in Norway in other companies or small companies capable of dealing with digital tools, digital delivery,
They learn
digital
easy.
model?
I'll be honest, like I can tell you that again, like because it's no secret in the project and so on. Like in the beginning, yeah, they were skeptic, but now they love it more. Like when the beam kiosk is doesn't work, they come and plague me because they don't want to go back to drawings. They like
Yeah.
it's so much more enjoying for them as well because they look like in a game. So now they are using it almost daily. And like let me make some mentions because there are some things that are very important here. Again, and I'm talking mostly about there are few disciplines that are more applicable to, like for structural, like we build this big project, uh, big tunnel with many facilities with many structures, right? Concrete, it's fixed. Like for concrete and reinforcement, it's like once you have a 3D model, a B model with all the information, it's very simple to do it, to use that. So you just need the tools. You need a platform that supports with the delivery and the access to the information. And you need in some. So we are using tablets, we are using phones, but also we have a BIM kiosk. And this is the most like it's better to be used because it's easier to understand by more people. But when you need some quick information about, let's say, hey, I have some bars, like for example, the quality engineer goes on site and checks some rebars, what center distance should be between these bars. He just click on that bar and he get like, okay, so here I should have 150. He measures it and he confirms or not. So this works like you need a symbiosis of different tools and platforms. So this is not cheap, of course. I think the people are not going to be a problem in this case after they try it. They have to try it because I told you in the beginning they were skeptical, but once they started, they like it more because it's like let's see, let's think like most of even workers today they use Facebook. It's not more complex than that. Like if they can use a social media platform, whatever it is, TikTok, whatever it is, they can use a tool on their phone to click on something and read the information. And again, like I'm speaking like more general things. Measuring is not a problem, not for infrastructure. I don't know how this is going to work for buildings because it's different. On infrastructure, measurement, and this is a huge important, like people don't understand, is like the iceberg, the part that is in the water. The surveyors are the life and blood of uh, executing BIM model-based projects on site, because everything is placed according to where they are placing everything. So no one has to measure anything unless it's something I don't know for what reason. But everything like the formwork and everything is placed according. The pipes are placed according to the surveyor. And you have that, like in a infrastructure project in Norway, you have BIM teams of surveyors, and they are extremely important. So again, the disciplines, I told you, structural is solved. Pipes, it's also solved. We do all the pipes with that. Electrical, we have like cable bridges and stuff like this as well. There are still drawings, there are still drawings, maybe for some intricate detail or something like that, maybe for a general thing that you want to make for the whole project or something. So again, I would not say, that's why I started, and we started to call it in Norway now, model-based construction and not drawing less, because the bridge that you are talking about, they are saying drawing less. And I'm sure that they used at least one schematic, one detail or something in a drawing. So that's not correct to call it like that. That's my idea. And in the end, like a bridge is just one construction. If you think at a whole project, most times one bridge is part of a larger project, you know. So in that context, you still have some drawing somewhere. And again, I'm not like, everything I do, my work revolves around model. Like my main task is to quality assurance, to do quality assurance for models and so on. But we still have drawings, I told you. So, but different disciplines have been solved. Like I said, like we don't need reinforcement drawings anymore. Those were like a pain to the eyes and very difficult to do everything. You can do everything. You can do in model based. You can do even production. You can even send to a steel producer right now. We use something that comes from Germany, BVBS, which is a standard for how you bend bars. And if I have that information in the model, all you have to send is that file to the
The
producer,
machine
and
will
they will
bend and
just,
cut. Yes.
exactly. So that's like, we didn't start using that. We are testing that, but we are using in other projects, so it works. There are other people using it. It's just like it has to be generated and is there. So the production, it works. The placement on site also works, because we use, I don't have any reason why not to say, we use Dalux for that. So it's simple enough for people to use Dalux and Tribal Connect. These are the tools that we use in Norway that are most popular for reinforcement works. So this is kind of what's happening. So you need tools, you need platforms, like tools when I mean also physical ones, like BIM kiosks, like I mean BIM stations, depending on the nature of the job. You need people who have the knowledge and the courage to enforce this. But when you have clients that request you to use model-based, to work model-based, then you kind of have no choice, because you have that client, right? So you have to do it the way that the client requested, and the client has this in the requirements of the project, right? And then you just have to help the people across the way. Like maybe he's a project manager, maybe he's a quality engineer who you before he used like paper checklists. Like that's what we did in the start of the project. But after we progressed, we started to have more and more checklists that are actually exactly like the same replica of the paper, but it's a digital one. And you just go in on site, you see the bar, you see how it looks, you press on it, you see what is the position number of this bar, what is the diameter, you check the diameter, you check the segment length and everything, and then you confirm if it's good or not. Otherwise, you put a comment, you take a picture, you do this. Everything is very well documented, right? It just makes sense. Like nobody can come back to you and say, did you check this? No, we of course we checked everything, right? So you can document like this. It's a tremendous value, and it's possible.
Yes.
I'm going to do so much more content about this thing, about the whole process soon. And again, like if this is possible in Norway, there is no, like it should be possible everywhere. The only thing that is critical here is to have a good information in your model, and that starts
Yeah.
from like
But
you can't do
it is a
that.
big issue. Yeah. Yeah.
You can't do
Uh,
that isolately. You need to have that, like everyone should be understanding this, from the client, from the contractor, from the designers who do this, and it has to be like a symbiotic, like I said. But it's possible. And again, this is not like, my project is not special. All the infrastructure projects have the same requirements in Norway, starting with this now. So I still think there are things that are going to be improved in the next years, but it's already happening at an almost national scale. And again, I'm talking about infrastructure. On the building side, it varies a lot, because you also have many private developers who are not maybe so interested, but the public ones are enforcing this also a lot. But in buildings, you have other challenges that you don't have in infrastructure, and you don't have so many surveyors that can help you. This is the big advantage that I think we have in infrastructure. We get a lot of support from the surveyors. The budgets are much larger. That's another thing. And the third one is that also the constructions, I'm not talking about necessarily about bridges, but let's say like different technical rooms or stuff like that are quite simple. It's not something very special like structural. Like there are simple facilities that, yeah, sometimes you have also more complex, but most of the time you have like many of them across a whole area, right? But they are not so complicated. They don't have many layers. They don't need many teams to be in the same place. They don't need so much insulation maybe or other things so that you need many people in one place, right? Or like plasterboard walls where you need like all these different layers with it's mostly either bricks, either concrete, so it's quite simple from my point of view as an engineer, right? Just have bars and concrete, that's it, and formwork. Put the formwork based on the surveyor, put the reinforcement, check it, cast the concrete, done, go further.
I love again how your excitement about this model based on
I do this every
innovation and
day. I love it. I do it every day. People don't believe me. People think that I'm talking
yes,
about stories.
I didn't want, I wanted, you know, it's now very difficult to me to go back and remember all details you said, and I don't have actually to do this because you said it perfectly. But again, it is evolving. It is evolving. It is a process, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm happy to see things moving forward. There is other countries trying to push the BIM standardization and BIM adoption using only theoretical things and aspect and workflows and presentations and maybe Norway and Finland and Scandinavian countries have been and still leading in the domain of doing things correct way.
Mhm.
But at the same time, there are many challenges. So this will be a longer process.
Always.
And when we talk about like offsite construction and that you can deliver a model to machines and the machine will assemble the whole wall or the whole bath or the whole kitchen and do things. When we think about 3D printing of building, you deliver a model to a machine, to the printer, and no need to do anything, no need
Yeah.
even to make measurement. The computer will take the measurement.
Yeah.
And I am sure that AI will change things
A
in the
lot.
future. Maybe as a designer, you will give your parameter and your performance. You give the performance, not the information requirement. You say, I want to have a building which is safe for earthquake for 5.5. I
Yeah.
want to have a building which is safe for fire at least 3 hours. I want to minimize the material. I want to use material engineering to reduce or to have a fires to have. So I think maybe the computer in the future will make the design, will
For
optimize
sure.
things, will send this model to another robot or to another CNC system. And as you said about the steel bars, they will be cut, bent, assembled by robot. So this is a dream since many, many years that at some point that the construction industry will move from this manual work, hard work, workers. But the reality again, Petro, maybe in Norway, in Europe, in some
Mhm.
countries, the government is having funding,
Pushing.
they are investing in this, they are having a team who is capable of dealing with digital tools. But in many, many countries, don't be surprised
Yeah.
that maybe majority of workers don't speak the same language, they are coming from different countries, they are unskilled, they don't even some of them cannot read and write, really,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
some
I know. I
cases.
know. I know. I know.
So this is the reality and this is the vision. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
will take time.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And when you
completely
say like,
agree.
yeah, when you say I go to the BIM model, I measure the bar, how is the diameter of the bar or whatever. So here we are again, the legal issue with BIM. Can I trust this BIM model if I take the dimension and the information from the BIM model, but it was wrong? Who will take the responsibility? Unfortunately, in most countries, the consultant pushing the responsibility to the
To
contractor.
the contractor. Yeah.
The consultant make the design and then he ask the contractor to do the shop drawing and to ensure clash detection free model and to build as design. So at
I
the
think
end, the
here
contractor
here
take
is
the
shared.
responsibility.
I think here
Yeah.
is a shared the responsibility, and I think like if it's wrong information, should be the designer, and if it's correct information and it was put a different one, it's either it should be the contractor because they didn't check. So it's kind of that's what's happening. Yeah.
Yes.
Ali, you know what's the most important thing here is that you start with having good models. Okay, so once you have this, I think after some point people will realize why are we wasting so much time with drawings if we can use already this information. We have the tools. This is already done in other places. Why don't we try the same? By the way, we have also people from many different countries, from Spain, from Portugal, from Norway, from Sweden. So that's like even if they can't read, yeah, maybe it's a bit difficult, but at least somebody in the team can do that, like the foreman or something. But again, I don't say that there will not be challenges. There are always challenges, okay? But that's how we become better. That's how, um, yeah, that's how it happens. We have to have these challenges to be pushed. But again, like for you, for what I'm happy about is that for Dubai municipality, the most, the biggest challenge is going to be solved because you start with a good model. It's going to be just up to the stakeholders that have access to these models to decide how far they want to go. That's how I see it.
Well, it's not that easy. It's still a challenge because now we are dealing with a consultant. When we start to deal with a contractor, and then we have to deal with the subcontractor. So the challenge is much bigger, because
Yeah.
they are less prepared for BIM. And the BIM model that we have now, they're only for getting the building permit. They are not for the construction, don't include the details. But I believe this model based is doable for sensitive project or should be applied for very sensitive like nuclear power station or some specific kind of a project or for complex type of bridges, etc. So maybe this could work, but I believe the majority of building project, villas, normal
Mhm.
residential building, the traditional way will stay for long time. And for you, Petro, don't you have also to be like have a balance that don't hate drawing or think that they are bad, because drawing, in my opinion, drawing are not waste of time because they are generated automatically. You
Yeah,
have the BIM model, you can select any section, any place to create a drawing.
I agree
And
with
maybe
that.
the waste of time now is adding dimension, adding notes, adding annotations. But it is necessary at some point because the time you invest to add these annotations and dimensions and colors and tables in the same drawing, the additional work done for drawing will be saved when the reviewer or the receiver of the information as a human being can visually read the drawing. At the end, for us as engineers, we learned in our university that drawing are the language of engineer. So we have to be careful with them to say like now you don't have to use them. But
I,
the same what I said maybe 1 hour ago when I said the good tool will you don't have to make a marketing for any tool if it is good. At the same time, you don't have to push too much for any technology if this technology, the return of invest and the added value and the
yeah,
usability and the friendly and the doability is clear and is has
that's true.
positive factor, it will be it's the same like with the mobiles. Now
Yeah.
you don't have to tell anybody go and get a smartphone.
No, I
If he
agree.
has Nokia, I don't know 9911, I don't know this old type of Nokia's telephone because people already see the value. So the same for 3D printing, the same for model based, the same for
Yeah,
offsite modular construction, the same for robot. Uh, to be used in the construction, the same for virtual reality, the same for metaverse, etc., etc. So the technology and the return of invest will enforce themselves with time. Or maybe we will have always this paradox like BIM, 30, 40 years, and people still asking BIM or not BIM, or is it good, is it bad?
oh
So maybe
no, I can't imagine that reality, Ali.
still,
I'm
still,
sorry.
still,
I
there
don't
are
think
still
so.
people. Yeah.
I think so. I don't think so because I think AI will take care of that. I like 30, 40 years, it's way too much for AI to not make a tremendous impact. And what I'm thinking, it's either we really use these things and these tools that we have that are better, either we are going to get so much better tools that are completely render irrelevant, these tools again anymore, and we are just going to get something much better. When I say about drawings, when I'm thinking about don't waste time, I completely agree. Like if you have the tools that can generate these drawings for you, but without having to waste time, like to have billing time on drawing production, if you already have a good model that you can build after. That's my take. If you have enough information to build a project, like let's start with design, to coordinate a project, to design it and to coordinate it, to build it, and then to operate it, then you don't need drawings. Like to spend time in drawing creation. If these drawings are just generated automatically by the tools you use, I take that. But if you already have this information, it's only about the training. You just have to teach people how they can get the same information they are taking from drawings. I might be a model zealot,
Well,
but that's how I see things.
what I think I could happen if I allow to have my vision, to say my vision,
Mhm.
maybe we will move from having already generated static drawing to have a smart, dynamically on time or instantly generated drawing. Just imagine now what's
Yeah,
happening, that the architectural team, they will generate a drawing for architectural. The MAB, they put their MAB stuff on another drawing.
yeah.
And it is a static. It is either PDF, DWF, or so on.
Mhm.
In the future, when we will have this 3D model and we have a federated model, and we have even the update from the construction side about the status of the construction, etc., 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 it is your it is again the freedom. OpenBIM is about freedom. You are free as a person. If you are from the generation Z who are used to use technology, you can say, I play PUBG and I play Fortnite since I was a child. I can navigate in 3D better than understanding complex drawing. If you are somebody like me and we are in our like 40s, close to 50s years, maybe some people still prefer to have this as 3D model, but to be able to generate whenever they wish
Yeah,
any section, any elevation, any floor plan, any kind of 2D visualization
yeah.
according to their
Need.
like what they prefer to see
Yeah.
3D or 2D. So at the end, as
Yeah.
you said, the most important things to have information with good quality, all model like geolocated or federated together, and the information are fed it back to the model. And
Yeah.
then it's very simply to have a tool which create a cross section and maybe even to add some dimension automatically, to apply
Hmm.
some color automatically. And then you have it in your mobile, like as the software you said about in Norway,
Hmm.
Dulux, I don't know
Dalux.
what's the name.
Dalux. It's a Danish tool.
Dulux. I know it's very, but for me the name is difficult. Dulux,
It's
okay.
okay, no worries, no worries. But yeah, like my only problem, Ali, is with one thing. I don't like double work. I hate this. I'm a productivity freak. I don't want double work of any kind. I see that as waste, as physical waste, as resource waste. We can do something better. That's my own take here. So if we do something, we should do it once and see how we can use it multiple times. And the tools should do that for us because we live in a day and age where we can get these tools. So with that being said, let's close this chapter of model-based construction because it got very long.
It's
Now
very
we are
long.
going to
It's
have this
very,
as
very
a
complex.
episode, but it's very good because again, like this is a topic that you are going to see much more from me in the future because I strongly believe people can get inspired, can learn, and can apply the same things. If it's possible in Norway, it's possible in other places as well. It's just, and I've seen actually even in places like Romania or other places, there are companies. It also most of the time it comes from the government. In Norway, by the way, this is no government. There is no government mandate. What's happening in Norway is that openBIM is enforced by the largest public clients, right? So it's not the
It's
government,
very
it's
good.
not a law or something, but it comes from the top down anyway, from the large clients. They request like, you want to work on my project, you want to use this. But I also seen cases like in Romania, and I'm sure there are other places as well, where companies like designing companies or consulting companies, they choose to use this way of working because it's so much easier for them to build the projects. So there is also this approach. I have some discussions, and I will have more about this in the future. But Por is doing some interesting things, and there are a few other companies. But again, like if you want national harmony or international, then it has to come up from governments or like even larger forums. But yeah, next topic, IFC5. Have you looked into IFC5 at all? Do you have any idea, any feeling, any thoughts about this?
You are choosing very complex topic after talking for almost 90 minutes now. I have mixed feeling. I have mixed feeling.
Okay.
If you wish, we could arrange a separate session to talk
About
about
this? Okay.
what I think. Because, of course, I looked at IFC 5, I see the vision, I see the advantage, the promises, and at the same time, I see how I'm feeling how people feel about it, myself and others. So it is like a complex theme to talk about IFC 5 now. If you wish, really, we can prepare
Yeah,
something special about
let's do
it,
another one.
or
But
maybe we
have
can invite others. Yeah, but it is something very sensitive to talk about. But I think it is again, anything is evolving over time. So at the
yeah.
end, IFC as a standard cannot you have to push it further, to you have to develop it, you have to be more flexible regarding the performance, better visualization, better collaboration. Maybe the just we can talk later about it. For me, maybe if they called it something else, not IFC 5, if they called it another name, maybe then the misunderstanding will be easier. But
Aha.
if you have like IFC 4, then you have IFC 5, which is totally different. This
Okay,
make
so you
is
have a problem with the naming because
maybe,
like
yeah.
okay, yeah, that's I didn't talk about this like from that perspective because you are right about something that is going to change a lot. So maybe it should have also gotten a different name and break this way of naming the schema. Yeah, I didn't talk about that, but what I can tell you is that I talked to Leon van Berlo about this week, and I actually today I published an interview about this, like the 1 hour conversation with him. It's
Yeah,
on my channel. You are welcome to have
nice. I will
a look
watch
at
it
it,
later.
and
Yes.
we can definitely have another chat where we can talk closer about this. You can share more ideas. If you have any other people in your network, they are more than welcome to join the call, and I would love to have a panel
Yes, there is a
and
lot of
debate.
debate about it, and I think Leon is doing his best to clarify things. And at the end, I think if it is a community work, it is a collaboration work, and people talk about bad and good, they will come up with something good at the end.
Mhm.
Because I am excited about USD as this universal scene description. I
Yeah.
tested myself. I tested on NVIDIA. I
Uh-huh.
even installed the USD plugin for Blender. So it is exciting how you can work collaboratively with giga size and very, very big scenes model. But at the same time, if you call it IFC, and you have then to clarify things. So maybe it should be something like a new branch of the standard, or a
Mm-hmm.
new,
Interesting.
to have a kind of parallel development. But I think the vision to have parallel development, but
Mm-hmm.
the same name, this make things complex. But I'm not expert in this domain, Petro.
Okay.
But you asked me about my feeling. The short answer, I
Yeah.
have mixed feeling. Let's wait and see how things will go.
Okay, okay, that sounds great. You have a valid like I agree on that. They could think about at least consider changing the name. I don't think it makes any sense to invest any resources in keeping developing the other ones once you once this comes out, and if it's true that like from what I've seen so far, all the parties are interested in this, are very excited. So once this is going to be, because everything should become easier, even exporting, so this should become much easier for everyone, right? But yeah, that's theory. Until it happens, it's something else. And if that's the case, then it wouldn't make any sense to put any resources in older ones. But regarding the name, yeah, that could That could make sense.
Maybe IFC5 is based on USD, Universal Scene Description, right?
I don't think it's based, but I think it supports. So you are going to be able to
No,
combine.
it has the similarity, the data
Yeah,
schema. So
yeah.
maybe they can call it UBS, something like Universal Building Description, maybe, or
I like it. You thought you go so light about it, but at the same time you even brainstorm new names for IFC. So,
yeah, I thought about it. Don't I do my best to keep updated
but
at
it's not
least,
only about
on.
buildings. So it's not only about we should make some polls about
So
this.
assets, UAD, then Universal Asset Description, don't be
That
that.
would be like, what is that? Isn't that like UAD, like some currency stuff?
UAD, I don't know. Maybe I don't think there's
No, but
UAD
it's a
as
good
currency.
idea.
Maybe.
It's a good idea that we should discuss at least about. So yeah, that was a good one. Okay, show us a bit your platform. Let's have just an overview of your platform, and then if you like, we can have another session where we can go deeper and
Yeah,
see
yeah.
what it can do.
I think Petro, maybe I told you I'm flying tomorrow morning. I still have to prepare my package and
Okay,
a lot of stuff. So I will say just like 5 minutes about what is
perfect.
ifcwebserver.org, and invite people maybe to explore it until we meet again and have time to record another session.
Yeah.
So as I said, ifcwebserver.org is a data server and online viewer for IFC model.
Would you
It
like to
support
share the
as well.
screen? Would you like to share the screen?
Okay,
And
I can share the screen, but actually I didn't want to make it very long. Let me see
no,
how I can share my screen here
you
more.
have the green button. The green button,
Oh,
share.
share. Okay, I see it now. So I will share. Let me see how to prepare something here to be shared. Okay. You have to cut this from the video, this 1 minute waiting to share.
It's okay, no worries.
No problem. So I will share this screen. Let me know when you see the screen.
Now I can see it.
Okay. So this is the website, ifcwebserver.org. As I said, it is an open BIM data server with some features, unique features, and online BIM viewer. Also, I try to highlight the features.
Mhm,
It is used mainly, or it was developed, as I said, during my PhD, and it is under continuous development since then. It offers a lot of features for all people who are interested about openBIM. Maybe today I will focus about learning openBIM, getting your hand dirty with openBIM. So simply you can go to the registration a new account. It's totally free, just
mhm,
a few steps to register your information,
mhm,
and then you are ready to upload your first IFC model, maybe coming from Bonsai or Revit or ArchiCAD or any of the software. After you upload your IFC model, they will be converted in the background automatically using IFC OpenShell to be compatible with the online viewer, so you can view them inside the web browser using WebGL technology, and then you can start making queries, filters, extracting information, generating report. And if you are more interested, maybe let me try to log in with my account. So as you see here, we have currently almost like 2,948 users. We have to remove almost 200 users which are project I generated myself. So maybe like 2,500 at least user worldwide
mhm,
who have uploaded almost 3,500 model, IFC model. So now I looked into my personal account, and this is the model that I uploaded over the time to my
mhm,
model. So
mhm,
simply you can just go choose file, upload, finish, or if you have many models, you go to this multi-uploader file and then you upload all IFC model.
mhm,
And after a few minutes, your model will be ready. So today, for example, I uploaded this model. As you see, this is
mhm,
today, or the model was This is the model here, a small villa. So I can simply click on it and then I can start querying information.
Okay.
Um,
Can you
um,
also open it? Like if you click, what happened if
yeah, yeah,
you click on
of
Beam
course. If you
Viewer?
click on if you click on the model, it will open in the online viewer. If you click on any element, so it's basically like any online viewer with more features about like it's because I'm using here sometimes a graph database, so you have a lot of advanced, but I don't want like to waste
Yeah.
that chance to have a dedicated session to
Yeah.
talk about this stuff. But of course, you can filter, you can do many things. You can even, for example, you can, for example, even check the LOD. We have been talking about unnecessary geometry information, etc.
Yeah.
So you can, for example. Uh, this is a model-based tool because at the end here you are dealing with the model to see all information. You don't have
Yeah.
to go back to anywhere else to know about any element, about any things. So there are many features. I prefer maybe to make a
Yeah.
professional demo next time about
Yeah.
them.
Let's do
But
that.
for me, I didn't want to start with the viewer for one reason, Petro, because when I started with developing this tool, information was my purpose. I don't
Aha.
care about
Okay.
visualization. The market was already have a lot of a viewer for
Yeah.
IFC, but if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
are interested to get access to 100% information, even the relationship, even the
Okay.
low level geometry, even the any entity inside the model, it was not that easy at that
No.
time.
No.
So that time, that's why I prefer to keep the online viewer capabilities and features for another session. But
Aha.
here, I mean, you could ask me. We can make it interactive. Ask me anything. Ask about any information. Ask me, can you do this? Can you get this information? Because at
Yeah.
the end, there is a way to get access to everything, starting by the header of the
Yeah.
file. You can get very basic HTML, which will tell you what is the version, what is the source system.
Which tool
You
has been
can
used? Revit. Revit. Yeah. It comes from
here
Revit.
for modeling is Revit. For modeling is Revit. Here you can get access to all classes inside the model, the number
Yeah.
of instances. You
Can you
can sort
choose?
them
Can
by
you
the.
switch between types? Can you see which types do you have in this model?
Yeah, if you want to see types, so just simple types. This is the types of what you want to see.
Yeah. IFC beam times, column times. Yeah. Okay.
BIM types, okay, this is the BIM types, for example. So this is the types inside the model. So this is the name of the types. You can sort
Mm-hmm.
them. This is the predefined type,
How
etc.,
would you
etc.
check?
So yes.
How would you check quickly if you have materials on all objects in the model?
If we have material in all object,
Yeah.
or you want to see if the model has no material.
It's kind of the same.
Oh,
But
okay. In this case, I have to go back to the viewer. You are forcing me to go to the viewer. But actually, I can't
okay.
tell you. No, I can't tell you how. I can't tell you how because the material are defined by a relationship called IFC rel assign material or associate material.
Mm-hmm.
So here, if
You
I
have.
want to tell you exactly which element associated with material, I go to this relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and when I click on it, it will give me the the material, but I have to look
Yeah, to look in the
back
model.
to look in the model. But here I have all elements which are associated with material. So
Uh-huh.
I can simply write a very simple script which give you a list of element which doesn't have material, or if I want to use the visual like the online viewer,
Yeah.
I can simply if I choose again the same model, I can simply go here and go to these filters where you have this here. I can say
Mm-hmm.
remove any material, any element which has one of these materials. So by removing all materials, only the element which has no material will stay, for example. So here you have some interactive possibilities. Or if you click on any element, you will get the material of that
Properties.
element and the properties, and then you can filter by it, you know. So at the end, there are many ways how to do this. Or
Looks
the
good.
server, maybe I can show this next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That the server itself have the possibility that you can write So you can simply automate things by automating a simple task. You asked me about something which is not
Yeah.
existing. So let me just try to make this. So I can just like generate, write some script. I don't know if I have anything related to material here.
Hmm.
Okay, materials. I have some script for materials. I don't myself even remember what is that to does, but at least here it is maybe doing the same what you asked me. It's go through a loop
Hmm.
over all these relationship and then generate it split the model by material, like
Okay.
for example.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great, Ali. Let's settle for this now, and let's say that next time you
Yeah.
show me a workflow like how this tool could be used by BIM coordinators. Imagine I am myself. I'm a BIM coordinator working only with IFC models. I want to work as effective as possible. To check my models, to federate them, like you know the tools that you have inside. So I want you to show me a workflow, how this could help me to save time.
Okay, we can make it more complex, Petro. It is a challenge.
Okay,
You will publish the video. I go in vacation for 3 weeks.
okay.
You and all people who will listen to us, they
Leave a
can make
comment.
challenges.
Okay.
Leave a comment as a BIM coordinator, as a student, as a surveyor, as architect, as whatever, and then we try. I will do my best, either or based on one model like this small villa, or based on other model,
Yeah.
to do my homework and prepare a kind of solution or answers for all challenges or questions raised.
It might become a
But
quite
until that
long
time,
video. It could be a long one. We could also do like more shorter ones, only once a
no
time.
problem. I think today we are enjoying our conversation, so
Of
it's
course, of course, of
it,
course.
it was a
I
plan to
love
be
it.
1 hour now. We are more than maybe 2 hours almost.
Yeah, we are almost 2 hours,
Yeah,
but I'll definitely have to cut it in few parts.
no
But yeah,
problem.
like of course I enjoy this, Ali. I live for this.
Okay, great,
I love
great,
this.
Peter.
So I can't. I hope there are more people who will enjoy this as well. And but in the end, like that's how we start, right? We start debating, we start talking, we start sharing, and then we start offering solutions. That's what I'm about. Like how can we save time? How can we do things better? That's what I'm about.
Okay,
So
great. So
yeah,
let's conclude here,
yeah.
Peter. I'm
You can
sorry
stop
that I have
sharing.
to stop here.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
I will
It's
stop
fine. It's
sharing.
fine. It's fine
Yeah.
for me. I have also to go and do other things. Thank you so much. It was very, very, very cool. I can't wait for our next session. I'll hit you up and let's book the next chat. Thank you so much, Ali. Really appreciate
Thank
you
you,
taking
Peter.
the
Thank
time.
you. Take care.